Okay, we'll start with the prayer. Gajananam bhuta ganadi sevitam kapita jambu falasara bhakshitam umasutam shoka vinashakaranam namami vigneshwara pada pankajam Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shri Gurave Namaha Om Trayambagam Yajamage Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityur Mukshiya Mamrita Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya. So let's begin the discussion. Kishorji, you can now start sharing the screen.
Yes, Guruji.
With the same details, somebody who has Jagannatha Hora can also keep the chart ready, just if you want to compare. The aspect table or Shadbala is somewhat neatly arranged in Jagannath Hora. So you can also have that as a backup. Are the details already known? The time of the unfortunate sad event? Everybody has it, right?
I'm sharing the screen, Guruji.
Okay.
This is what we wanted, right, Guruji?
Exactly. Yeah. We can stay here for some time.
Okay.
Only thing is it didn't reveal the degree. Okay.
That we can do that.
Yeah. If you can add the degree. Why we need to add the degree is because for some of the beginner students, they will know how important it is because anyway, we'll eventually be having other screens that have the degrees, but degrees just tell you who is in the first part of the sign. Like for example, if you look here, you will know in Aries, Rahu comes first and Jupiter is very close. They crisscrossed each other. Rahu was coming backwards and Jupiter was going forward. And you can easily guess some days back, they should have been together. And then Mercury is far ahead, right? And what has now been added by Kishorji is that he's saying now Rahu is inside the nakshatra of Ketu, Ashwini. So the Rahu element is very strong now. What is this? Rahu is inside Ketu star and Ketu is inside Rahu star. So there is so much poison or so much from the past lives that is coming up. Now, normally, a mass death event like this is sometimes used to even question the basis of astrology, right? You see a lot of people asking questions about if a large number of people pass away in an incident like this. The question is, all of them are running Maraka Dasha and Maraka Antar Dasha? All of them are having the time of death, or sometimes this is a freak event where astrology cannot explain, right? So we have two different situations. But we can make, at least because we are all astrologers, we can say that everyone who passed away in the event must show up in their chart. The point here is that nobody has done a research on all the people's horoscope and then come up with statements. See, look, this 10 horoscopes doesn't fit in at all. Then why did they die? So no such research was conducted. Okay, even if it is conducted, it never was published or discussed generally in public. So, but this is just a comparatively smaller number, but earthquakes could run into lakhs. Okay, so then it's definitely something that is questioned by the critics of astrology. Okay, so we doubt whether astrology can be, is reliable or not. So that's a very difficult point to prove. But as of now, since we know an event like death, which is a very big event, must be connected to the horoscope. And we also know in the same accident, many people survived. right? So that also proves the point, because you can only say that they were not having the, for them it was not indicating in the horoscope that they will die, and that's the reason why they survived also. We can argue like that. But all this aside, what we are now going to do is, when the event happened, Kishorji, do you have any sheet that tells you the date, or you have to dictate it, or maybe type it out? The date is on the top, right?
Yeah, it is on the top, Guruji.
Yeah, on 4th June 2023. Yeah. What time?
6:45 is what I'm starting, Guruji.
Okay, 6:45. I think,
PM.
was this taken from the newspaper report?
No, newspaper gave a rough time of 7 p.m. And I was doing some event rectification, and I was able to see something happening from 6:45 itself. I would say that the reports would have come.
No, I did see somebody mentioning the exact time.
I think you posted it as 6:50, Guruji.
Yeah,
I was also surprised.
That was NDTV reporting the exact time.
Most of the media reports mentioned 7 p.m., but you posted yesterday as 6:50 in the group, Guruji.
6:55, Guruji. You posted
6:55. Okay.
Sorry, I joined late. Can you please repeat what event are we investigating through this chat?
The Zoom meeting link has the title, right? It is about the Odisha train event, the accident.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
I think very close to 300 people unfortunately passed away, and thousands were injured. Okay. So until somebody confirms that this is the exact time, what is that we are going to use?
We can use anytime between 6:45 to 7 p.m, Guruji.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter much about the placement, but what will change is something I'm going to discuss later.
Okay. Fine. Okay, you can. We'll ask people to type out what they see. One I can give you for to get started. Rahu is in Ketu Nakshatra and Ketu is in Rahu Nakshatra. Okay. And Jupiter, the protector, is very close to that point. So the protection is missing. And Jupiter gets afflicted. It's like he's the protector and he himself is afflicted by the Rahu and Ketu. Rahu hurts Jupiter more than Ketu. Right? Ketu seems to supplement Jupiter, but not Rahu. So I started off by saying my view and my point. Each one of you can start contributing by typing it out. And then after typing out, you can unmute your mic and then say something about what you see. If you read the survivors' statements, it is like a horror movie. It's a horror story. I was sleeping when the train derailed. Some 10 to 15 people fell over me. When I came out of the coach, I saw limbs scattered all over. A leg here, a hand there. Oh my God. Ramesh says, Ascendant Lord is in 8th and it is Mars violence. Mars is not in the 8th, it is in the 7th. But at least Lagna Lord debilitated. The ascendant itself is in the 8th spot of the Kala Purusha. Okay. Kala Purusha means for all of us, if you don't have, we are not talking about human life and karma, and these are something like that, okay, because it's an event, though it connects to human beings, but we can take it as a general event. And for all general events, the easy way to get started in reading is consider this place where I'm keeping the mouse pointer. Okay, I hope you can see the mouse pointer, right? Is it visible where I keep the mouse?
No, sir.
It's not. Oh, it's only maybe.
I've given you
Okay.
the remote control, Guruji.
No, it's okay. How, what do you mean by remote control?
You can operate my screen from there.
Oh,
See, right now you're
Oh.
moving the mouse. Just
okay.
let me
Now you
close
can
the-
see, right? Yeah, you close
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So now you can
It's
see the
on.
mouse.
Yes, Guruji, now you can operate.
Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
So this particular area is always the first house for general reading. It's called Kala Purusha concept. All of us have a birth time, and therefore our reference point is different from each one of us. I have my reference point here, you have your reference point somewhere else, any of the 12. But for the world, it is not like that. For the world, the reference point is always here. Okay. But then we can also use it in a different way. For example, if you are born, if the event happens in India, and India's, anybody knows what is the reference point for India?
Allahabad, Guruji.
No, in the horoscope. Taurus is the reference point, Sudeep. And why is that?
Taurus is the ascendant for India, is what I remember. Sorry if I'm wrong, please correct me.
And what is the basis for that?
The basis is the ascendant in New Delhi on 15th August 1947.
Yeah, since we know it's August, the sun must be here. And so the ascendant must be in Taurus, right? Because in midnight time, you always have sun in the fourth house. So since sun has come into Leo, it must be somewhere here. So Taurus is the ascendant for India. So from India's point of view, you can also look at it. But first, finish off from Lagna point of view. That is Kala Purusha's Lagna point of view. It's a general event for the whole world. Okay. So the whole world is shattered by this event, right? So though it is something you can say like that, you can split it into wherever it happened in Odisha. Only Odisha's something. Can we relate it to? So it's all up to imagination, right? You can say I know the chief minister of Odisha's this horoscope, and I know the Lagna, so it affects him a lot. Like that, we can keep talking about it. But normally, it is safer to use Kala Purusha first and finish up with Kala Purusha, and then at least use India, okay, as Taurus ascendant. So these are just to start off. So what are the things that you noted down? Where is the moon? Where is the moon in Indian independence chart? Anybody? The moon.
Third house, Guruji.
Third house? Okay. What is the nakshatra?
I think it's Pushami.
What else for India? Dominated by 8. Okay. So 15th August 1947. If you add up the entire number, also it will come to 8. So the moon is also inside the 8. Okay. So we got Indian Republic, became Republic on 26th. So this 8 is such a powerful number for India. So there are several other ways also, but each one is a different system. If on the map, if you use Delhi as the capital, then it becomes Capricorn as the reference point. Okay, like this we can keep changing. But at least we know the moon is in Cancer. So you keep that in mind. So now if I place the moon over here, India is going through what is called Ashtama Shani, the 8th house transit of Saturn. And railways is typically connected to which graha? Anybody can type? Railways is connected to which graha?
Like
Saturn.
which is related to iron related to metal things.
Yeah, but the question is which graha?
Saturn.
Saturn. Okay. Big things, heavy things, lot of iron and steel, very large, very long, takes time, somewhat slower. Okay, but now trains are fast, but long, big, heavy. Just look at if you weigh the entire train, right, with all the coach, how many tons it will be. So it is definitely Saturn.
Indian Railways is also the largest employer in India. Which
Okay, you
again
can say like
represents
that.
Saturn.
Yeah. Any networking, all the spider, spider has got 8 legs, and spider is definitely connected to Saturn. So anything that becomes like a web, just draw all the and India is a mighty network of railways. I think it is the world's largest one. I think I don't know what is the latest update, but India continues to be, I think, what I read from my school days. It has the largest network. Of course, we'll first say thanks to the British who started it a long time back. So we know Saturn is so important. And Saturn in the 8th from India's moon sign, India going through Ashtama Shani, fine, we can get that. Do you see anything about Saturn here? Something else you want to say about Saturn just by looking at what is being shown in the chart?
It's exalted.
Is it exalted?
Sorry, my apologies. It is in its Mula Trikona.
Yeah, because we are now talking in a negative way. Can you pick up some negative things about?
Rahu is conjuncted with Saturn, Guruji.
Is Rahu with Saturn? No.
Rahu is
For those of you who do not understand what the RA is, Saturn is inside Rahu zone, Rahu area. It is inside which nakshatra? Anybody?
Sadayam.
Satabhisha. It is a Rahu nakshatra. So the small font, whatever you see there, is not a planet. It is a nakshatra. Saturn is inside Rahu. Okay? Inside Rahu. Like this, you can come up with ideas. Now I'll do one thing. I'll go through whatever you typed so far. Lagna Lord debilitated. Sudeep, beautiful point. Lagna Lord debilitated. So the Lagna itself is in, kind of trouble. But the Lagna happens to be the 8th from the Kala Purusha, the 8th house of, sudden events. Naveen said Lagna Lord is debilitated in the 9th house. So fortune, luck is not good. Instead, if Naveen had told the Lord of the 9th house of Bhagya is in the house of loss, Bhagya lost, bad luck. Right? It's just, you can't say it's a matter of luck, but somewhat a matter of luck also. Sometimes, what if somebody had known this, somebody would have averted it. It was still possible, right? Things could have happened where they saved everybody. So there is some element of bad luck. This is not something that is very common. So it must have the bad luck element in it, though scientifically you should say only carelessness, right? But It doesn't happen all the time. So somebody, you can say bad luck that people missed it or didn't take note of that this could happen. So the Lord of the 9th house of Bhagya sitting in the 12th house of loss may be one of the big points. Okay. Ascendant, Kiran says ascendant and Mercury are in the same degree. Yeah, this is something pertaining to the exact time of the accident, right? If anybody has found some authentic report about the exact time, please share it with us. Okay. In which case, this will become a very important point. Why is the ascendant in the same degree of Mercury? Because Mercury is the lord of the 8th house. Now, the principal houses in this kind of events is always the 6th house and the 8th house. Okay. 6th for all the injuries and 8th for all the death. And that too sudden. Okay.
Just one quick question, Guruji, and so what place have we considered in this chart? Because have we considered New Delhi or have we considered the place in Odisha where it happened? Because the Lagna may vary a little bit between the two.
Yeah. Kishorji, what is the place you have used?
It was as mentioned in the papers, Guruji. It is the name is Bahanaga.
Okay,
In
use the
Balasore
exact
district.
latitude, longitude
Yeah,
of
you
this.
said that. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Even I had a doubt, so I had to check, and it was correct.
Very nice.
Thank you, sir.
And interestingly, somebody, okay, this is Karthik who says, if you add the letter according to the Chaldean method, the Indian Railways, it adds up to 8. Is that correct? Karthik, are you saying it is perfect 8 based on the AIJQY is 1? Is that what you have done?
Yes, Guruji.
My God, I have not noticed it. It's very interesting. So so the Indian Railways is so much, or is it only India? Oh, or Indian? Indian is 17, I know that. Right? INDIAN is 17. So did
It
you
actually
add
adds
entire
to 35.
Okay. I see. So the entire thing is 35.
Yes.
How did you get this idea? Oh my God. To even add it up. Because INDIAN is always 8. Okay. It is 17. So if you add railways, it becomes 35. And 3 plus 5 is 8. So I also learned something today that Indian Railways itself is 8.
Which means, Guruji, all of us are dominated by Saturn as Indians.
Yeah. Yes, of course. So Ken Raoji uses a chakra where he has placed India's Lagna as Capricorn, again Saturn's Lagna. Okay, so we have several things. Saturn is in Mulatrikona. Okay, Satabisha we said. Saturn aspected by Mars. I think this is one of the most important points. Sirisha. Saturn aspected by Mars. Isn't that aspect so perfect? Okay. Now, Kishorji, can you show us the aspect table? Planets looking at planets, planets looking at houses.
Yes.
The aspect is 100%.
It's 100%, right? I can guess it is 100%, but there's nothing like seeing the report.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Yeah. Is it 100?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Okay, then we'll go back to the other sheet itself. Now, I want to tell you that whenever Saturn and Mars gets connected, there's always a possibility for war, injury, large scale, something. Mars and Saturn. Any connection. Try to, now we started off by saying Mars looks at Saturn 100%. You know, a very interesting thing about Western astrology is that in Western astrology, they do not have the, when not speaking, please be on mute. Okay. It will be very helpful for all of us. Ram Kumar, please be on mute. So, the Western astrologers, unfortunately, they do not have Dasha and Antardasha. So that in the timing part, they have a very big minus. But you know what they did? They tried to cover it up with or manage that by giving extraordinary importance to aspects. And so they are actually the master of aspects, the Western astrologers. So they have beautifully, laid out all the possible, and they given names for aspects in a very detailed manner. So if something is like this, Mars at 13 degrees and Saturn at 12 degrees, they would give a lot of importance to it, because 12 degrees, 15 minutes is almost 13 degrees, right? Saturn. And you must know that whenever Mars, the warrior or the violence, connects to Saturn, it becomes large scale, because Saturn is always large scale, big numbers, mass. Saturn is the mass. It is wide and it spreads. You know how to remember this forever? Look at Saturn. It's got rings. And look at the planet. Though it is this much, it's smaller than actually Jupiter. Because of the ring around it, it is like a big thing, like a broad. It's broad. That's why train fits in, something very wide and big. All this is Saturn. Anything that stretches out its wings like birds. Therefore, aeroplane is also Saturn. Okay. So Mars, Saturn, any connection. If you have time, watch my video, Mars, Saturn connection, and put my name, you will get my video on YouTube. So Mars and Saturn is the big thing here. But Saturn is not looking at Mars, right? Because it will be 0. I think it is 0. Okay. But
Yes,
Mars
Guruji.
looks at Saturn is 100%. So this is something very important. And I'll tell you one important fact about malefics. Whenever malefics are debilitated, it is always angry, more dangerous. Okay. So malefics debilitated. So we'll try our best not to bring in Nichabanga concepts and all that. These are on the rarer side. Conventional astrology does not use Nichabanga at all. Okay. These have been introduced at a later stage. So we'll always finish it up with a conventional classical approach. Okay, there is Nichabanga. I'm not denying Nichabanga, because we ourselves have done many sessions on Nichabanga. But we'll keep Nichabanga and such, something to, rarer things towards the last. So Saturn is very, very, very much, showing the event. Anybody else wants to say something about Mars? Anything else about Mars?
Sir, I
Exactly.
have-
Mars is in Saturn Nakshatra, sir.
Mars is in Saturn Nakshatra. That's also a point.
So influence of yeah.
A little more. I'm just expecting a little more than that about Mars. But I think we already gave you a clue in the beginning of the discussion.
It's aspecting fourth lord, Guruji. Saturn, fourth lord.
Saturn is the fourth lord. So therefore it is vehicles, you're saying. Okay.
Yes.
See how things are developing. Okay. And let's start building this brick by brick. Okay. The building is coming up, our analysis. And
Sir, and the Lord of the Mars, where the depositor of the Mars is also not in a good position, sir. It is I want to know whether Moon has the aspects of Saturn and Mars, and how much.
why did
Dispositor
you
of
connect
Mars.
Moon? You're saying dispositor. Oh, dispositor of Mars. That is, for those of you who don't know the meaning of this word, dispositor means who gave the house to Mars? Who gave the house to Mars? Who is renting it out? The Moon is renting it out, because Mars is the tenant, but it is not his house. So the question is, who is the lord of that house? The landlord, dispositor. So she says moon is a dispositor. So Mars has a problem just because the dispositor is in the house of loss. Huge loss, right? Not only loss of life, loss of so many things. Okay. The cost of these, all these coaches, the coach and all of the entire system, so expensive. So a lot of the dispositor is in the 12th. So we are talking something about 12th house. We can see that. If this was a Prashna chart, you will always look for where is the moon in Prashna chart. And so when you look at the moon, you'll say, oh, some event connecting to big loss, like that. Simply you can say that. In any Prashna reading, if you think this is a Prashna chart, what might happen at this time? Like that. If somebody is asking a question, they say, some moon is in the 12th. Your question is about loss, about something big, 12th house. Like that, you can say. Now I really want to take a rest because usually Sunday is my holiday. I want all of you to take over from me.
If there's anybody else willing to say something, please go ahead. If not, I have some observations, Guruji.
Okay.
And Guruji, the DTP that you gave for marriage, the question about marriage.
No, it was just a
Will
casual
we-
question. Yeah.
Okay,
No, no.
okay. We'll
just
discuss it
skip
later,
that.
Guruji. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
difficult actually.
Yeah, we can skip that. It was not, it was just a casual question.
Sir, you said that ninth lord is in 12. 12th
Wait.
lord is also in ninth.
You can say like that.
It's kind of connection exchange like.
Yeah, there is a Rashi Parivartana between 9 and 12. So
So
9
it will
and
also matter.
it will matter. Right. Why? So much of bad luck. What bad luck? To lose so many people at one time. Right? Even if one murder happens, the whole nation will come down on that, right? It wants to find who's the murderer and so on. So many people lost their lives. 280 plus people have lost their lives. So it is a big bad luck. So she's right. So these are the things that we should all observe. Okay, but please continue.
Guruji, one more observation. Fourth co-lord Rahu is also aspected by a malefic Saturn.
Fourth co-lord is Rahu, right? Rahu
Yeah, it's also aspected
is
by Saturn.
aspected by Saturn. I think it must be close to, wild guess, I think it should be at least 85% or 80%, right? Maybe not 100%. Is that correct? Do you have somebody else have the Jagannatha Hora set up so that you can quickly answer and help us when we ask?
89%, Guruji, in Jagannath Hora.
How much?
89.
89. Okay. How I did it in my mind, how did I do it in my mind is so simple. If I say Saturn 12 degree 50, if I'll imagine Rahu was at 1250, it will be 100%. Since it's not at 100, it's not at 1250, it's at 756. I just shifted it backwards and then started reducing the percentage. So it's a wild guess what I said. But now since you have a table, it can always be perfect. So that's also another point. Very good.
Sir, one more point. I'm not sure it's relevant. If we consider this as ascendant at that time, so Venus Antardasha is going on. I mean, considering this event. So, which is basically a pure marka. Not sure whether it's relevant.
No, how can it not be relevant? It will be relevant. Both.
Jupiter.
Yeah. The Dasha
Jupiter
and the
Dasha,
Antardasha. Yeah. The Antardasha surely will be connected. How will it not be connected?
And that too, Venus
Dasha
is
and
in the
Antardarshan. Yeah,
Venus is a star of another Maraka, Jupiter.
Jupiter. Okay. Okay. We'll consider that. So please, latest news. Anu says latest news says probing into possible sabotage, right? So setup planned. I mean, these are all normal things. Every time something happens, we have to suspect. Okay, what could it be? People queuing to donate blood in large number post this accident. How do we relate this? A Mars collectively good or otherwise? Is Mars collectively good or otherwise? You see, whenever we say Mars and Saturn, large scale violence and large scale blood, and because Mars is the blood, you know how we get this bad karma is by all the wars in which we participated in the past lives, all the violence that has been done by us in the past life. Okay. And if you do it for the nation, it is not a sin. But sometimes soldiers go one step beyond the duty. You must have seen movies where soldiers do a lot of atrocious things, right? So these are things that is noted by the universe, and it comes back like this at a later time. It's all because of the bloodshed. And so all the people who are actually donating blood, they are blessed because they would be actually altering their karma because they have given up blood. Okay. And it gives them an opportunity to help others also. And when they see this kindness, or when they go through, when the soul goes through these kind of events, they will know what pain is and what it is to be killed by a weapon. What is it? How will it feel if your leg is cut off or your hand is cut off? Whereas in many of the soldiers take pleasure in doing such things. Or not only just soldiers, there were a lot of serial killers, murderers, and all of them. Over the centuries, a lot of these people, they get accumulated, number of times. And then at a later stage, mass death like this settles the score. But that's the philosophy, but we cannot tell this in public because, if we are there, we can't even, imagine how horrible it will be. So this is not the time when we should actually, this is in a class we are discussing this. In public, nobody should say, you know what, you did these sins in the past life. That's why all this happened to you. All this is not possible. Because Sri Krishna himself has warned against using this knowledge in situations like this. Okay, at that time, you should not discuss these things. If you go to a burial ground and, you tell, souls are reborn again and again, there is no death, there's no need to cry, all that. But if there is a Guru Sishya, something like Arjuna is asking and then Krishna is explaining, then that is a different thing. So in a classroom, I can say all this, but not in public. Okay. So it is such a kind act that others have come forward to donate the blood, this blood that was shed in the past lives. So it's really good. Okay. But anyway, it is a mass event. Okay.
Sir, Anu pointed, Anu gave a clue, sir, when the train started. The chart of when the train started.
I mean, you can create a horoscope for that. But I still think in an event like this where three trains collide with each other, the actual event is enough to discuss. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one important thing is there's something called the Panchang itself. At the time the event happened. What is a Panchang? The day, the day means the weekday. Okay. What is a weekday? It is a Friday, right? It's a Friday. And it's an English Friday and it is a Indian Friday also, the Hindu Friday. the Panchang Friday. So Friday is definitely there. So what is Friday to this horoscope? What is Venus to this horoscope?
Seventh Lord, sir, Maraka.
Maraka. So easy way to talk about, how to write an article, write something or talk about is, before saying seventh Lord, you have to say it's Maraka. That's all. Okay. Because people are looking for these keywords. It is a lot of 12th house, huge loss. Okay. So 7 and 12.
Travel. And travel also.
If you want, you can say, 7th house is definitely the road. In this case, it becomes the rail, right? But 7th house is the definite travel, the road itself. Okay. Then there is something called nakshatra, the next element of the pancha. Then there is something called tithi. Then there is yoga, and then there's karana. Okay. So we will take, as we spoke, Kishorji was kind enough to, add that page, that information to this page. Vara is Venus. Okay. Beautiful. Tithi is Chaturdashi. Okay. But it is not Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi. It is still Chaturdashi. Is Chaturdashi generally a good Tithi or a bad Tithi? Leave alone Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi. Okay. Chaturdashi, is it good or bad? Bad.
It is not good, Guruji. Not good. Not good.
It's always bad, right? But the verse is that. The Karana is Gara. Okay. But it's not bad. Nakshatra, Vishaka. Yoga, Shiva. Actually, in Panchang idea, Shiva is a good yoga, I think. Yeah. It is a good yoga, but there is the element of Shiva. So we keep this in mind and then continue. Since there was so much negativity here, that's why I did the Mahamrityunjaya mantra also. Okay, before we started the class. Now, anybody else wants to say something? SI is now adding 22nd Drekanalad is Saturn. Wow. 22nd Drekanalad. 64th Navam's Lord is Venus. Oh, so Friday. So it's connecting to the Friday event. Okay.
And also is Marka, right? Marka.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
Venus is Maraka.
Venus moves to the 8th
Sir,
house.
Yes, Sridevi?
All the positive grahas, sir, all the benefits, all the natural benefits are reflected, sir, in this chart. Maybe as the Venus is in the hands of Mars, Moon is in the Moon and Mercury are opposite to each other
Rahu Ketu,
on Rahu Ketu axis. Yes,
Saturn
and Moon has the Saturn is aspecting
all the three of them, right? Rahu, Mercury, Jupiter, all of them.
So I mean, not the natural things cannot help maybe for this in this way.
Yes, and then the 9 and 12 Parivartana itself is that the luck element is not there, right?
It's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one person could have saved. One single maybe message or some warning, anything that we call as godly or good luck, that was missing. Okay.
Yes.
So Guruji, Saturn is also Mrityubhaga. He's in Mrityubhaga degree.
Oh, my God. Oh.
And
Jagannath, you have which reference you are using for Mrityubhaga, Jataka Parijata, or what's the other one? Sarvartha Chintamani. I think slight differences are there in the table. But is it the
for this
same?
one I used Jagannath Hora, but I have the table. But
for the Jagannath Hora itself. Okay, you're using the software.
Yes,
then we'll ask Kishore. Kishore ji, do you have a sheet that tells you about?
Yes, Guruji. So as I was planning to reveal a few things about this chart, I waited for the inputs from the others, and before I start my points and observations, I would like to really dedicate a 1 minute of silence to the departed souls, if it is with
Okay.
your kind permission, Guruji.
Yes, we'll all do that. In the mind, we'll always say silence, of course, but after that, we'll all in the mind say the Mrityunjaya mantra. 1 minute silence and then just 3 times Mrityunjaya mantra. Thank you.
Guruji, I have shared the Aswarphaladipika.
Oh, this is the one
Shri
which you're
chant.
using. Okay. This is from.
This is from our class. I didn't use
Oh,
this,
in
but
our
I'm
class.
looking also
Okay.
at this. Yes.
Yeah. So you said you encircled Venus? No, Virgo.
No, Guruji. No. I think that is from our previous class, like another class.
Previous class. Okay. So what is that you said? Where is
Saturn,
it?
Aquarius. Saturn, Aquarius, I think is on 14. I think it says 14 degrees. I think it's 12 degrees, 50 minutes, right? Here in this chart. So
Yeah.
it's very close to Mrityubhaga.
Very close. Okay. I think Kishorji has prepared extensively, but we'll keep that in mind. Like those of you who want to see how a Mrityu Bhaga chart looks, you can just click on what Sai has shared in the chat. Okay. This is taken from our class. Yeah.
Guruji, one more point is in Jagannath Hora, he's showing 4th house as Mrityubhaga also. Is it because of Saturn's presence over there? Or he even says 4th house is Mrityubhaga in the software.
So, Guruji, you had asked me about why I chose this time, right, Guruji? 6:45.
Okay.
So I was observing a few things. Now, if you look at let me first make my statements, the one that I have been observing. So first thing is that Mars is afflicting Saturn, but Saturn is not afflicting Mars. That is one big
Correct.
observation.
Yeah.
And Saturn is also the 4th lord and also represents heavy machinery. So that is the first observation. Second observation is Moon is afflicted by Ketu and Mars.
Ketu and Mars.
Yes. Venus is afflicted by Mars, conjunct.
Correct.
We'll first make the statements and we'll draw the connections. Jupiter is afflicted by the placement and being in the Rahu Ketu axis.
Correct.
Lagna Lord is debilitated. Okay. Saturn is in the 22nd. Saturn is the 22nd Rekana Lord from both ascendant and moon.
Okay.
Mercury is the 64th Navamsa Lord from ascendant and moon. From moon. From ascendant, Venus is the Navamsa Lord, 64th Navamsa Lord.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not seeing the Drekana chart. Otherwise,
here it is, Guruji. I'll put it here.
And Mercury is the 8th lord. Yeah.
Okay, as long as you noted it, it's fine because people also can reverse.
This is the Drekana, Guruji.
Oh, Drekana. Yeah, correct. Okay, correct. Saturn is 22nd Drekana from both.
Yes, and if you manipulate the time by a few minutes, then Mercury becomes Saturn is the 22nd Rekana, I mentioned it. Mercury is also the 64th Navamsa Lord from both ascendant and moon. If you move the timing a little bit, just by a few minutes.
Oh.
Okay, so this is one thing. And then we see Lagna Lord is conjunct with the 7th and the 12th Lord.
Okay.
So any departure from the world has to kind of connect to the 12th Lord and the Maraka Graha. So that is one important observation. Mercury is the 8th lord and the 11th lord and in the Rahu Ketu axis. 8th house is also the house of Ayush. And that 8th house is afflicted by Saturn.
Okay.
The 8th lord, I mean. The 8th lord Mercury is afflicted by Saturn. That means there is a hit on the longevity of the chart.
Okay.
Mars also afflicts the 3rd house, which is the 8th from the 8th.
Mars, 8 from the 8th. Okay.
And Lagna is afflicted by Saturn.
Okay.
And we know that Saturn is Ayush Karaka. So Mars afflicting Saturn is itself again another blemish. Then we see that the Moon is also afflicted by Mars, and not only with being conjunct with Ketu, but also with Mars. So those are the static elements that we had to first perceive and observe. As you have already, I mean, you have always mentioned that D1 has to be read properly first.
Correct, correct.
Before we go into the dynamics.
Even in Ashtaka Varga, the lowest score is in the house of Bhagya, right?
Yes, Guruji.
9th house. 9th house of guidance, misguided. So not guided properly.
Now
Can we see the strength of the planets? Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. I'll just finish this observation 1 second, and
can somebody help by typing out what Kishorji is saying one by one in the chat, so that in this will be like at the end of the video, the chat will be like a summary. If some people can volunteer to type out.
I think I will do it, Guruji, because
okay,
I have written it all. It's all written down.
Okay, then in that case, you just send me that. I'll copy paste that into the video.
Okay, Guruji. And then we see this Mrityu Bhaga that was discussed by Sai Garu. This was observed yesterday.
Okay.
And I was just tinkering with the time to see that there are 3 Mrityu Bhagas happening in a chart. Actually, we don't get to see even a single Mrityu Bhaga, very rare.
Okay.
To get one Mrityu Bhaga in a normal chart, a Graha in a Mrityu Bhaga or ascendant in Mrityu Bhaga, to get it in a chart is rare. But to get 3 Grahas in Mrityu Bhaga is something very strange.
Oh.
So we see that the Lagna itself is in Mrityu Bhaga. Moon is actually in Mrityu Bhaga if you move forward the time, move backward or forward. And then we see Saturn is in Mrityu Bhaga. You can see in this table, Guruji. Or shall I make it bigger? No, I can't make it bigger. I can zoom in if you want.
Can you zoom in, or in the editing, I'll take care of it?
If it's not a bother, I can, you may.
I'll do it in the editing.
Yeah. So when we mention Mrityu Bhaga, this is the column which speaks about Mrityu Bhaga. And we see that ascendant is in Mrityu Bhaga, moon is near Mrityu Bhaga. Actually, it's just half a degree only.
Okay.
Not even half a degree. And Saturn is in Mrityu Bhaga. So in medical astrology, we always give weightage to this, if you remember, Guruji.
Correct.
Yeah. So this is again about life. So we are connecting it with Mrityu Bhaga also. Then we go to the Dasha system. So in the Dasha, we see, if I go back to that page, the previous page, I have gone to level 4 actually. And there you see Jupiter, Venus, and Rahu.
Oh.
Yeah. So Jupiter is the 2nd lord. Venus is as usual the 7th and the 12th lord. Again, Venus is 7th and 12th lord. And Rahu is the 6th, is in the 6th. So it gives the fruits of the 6th house.
Okay.
We have also the placement of the 2nd lord in the 6th, the 5th lord in the 6th. So these are all the weighing in factors that are making this chart speak loudly. The biggest point I was shocked to see was the Mrityu Bhaga element, Guruji. See, to see one Mrityu Bhaga is very rare.
Yeah, that's a very interesting observation.
Yeah.
We can't say interesting because it's a sad event.
Yeah, it's a sad event. So that's why I started off with a 1 minute condolence,
Okay.
because
Okay.
at the end of the day, this may be a chart analysis for us, but for the people who have lost their lives, it is actually a very big loss.
Something else.
So
Yes.
it's only a divine providence that we are using this chart for our learning purpose.
Correct.
And basically, whenever we talk about event, the timing of the event itself is like a chart. As you said, it is like a Prashna chart.
Correct.
So whatever we get from this, the 6, 8, 12, whatever you get the reading has to come from 6, 8, and 12. And most of the connections are seen from 6, 8, and 12. On top of that, we are seeing Mrityu Bhaga elements. So that is one thing, Guruji. Later on, I was actually in the verge of doing something else, but then I thought, okay, we'll keep it for later.
Okay.
Can we see the strengths of the planets?
Yeah, I'll show it to you.
Sir, I have one statement. Earlier, I was thinking the ascendant is after some time they say Manta. But probably after hearing all the pieces statements and combinations, I think that makes more sense.
Okay.
This is the Shadbal and the Vimshopak bal.
Mars is strong and Mercury is very weak.
Guruji, assuming that this time is accurate, the first house and fourth house in D4 and D16 are also afflicted.
D60, Sashtiyamsa.
D16.
What D16? Oh,
and
vehicles.
also vehicles.
D60 is vehicles, okay.
And also D4 also.
D4, yeah. You can use it for vehicles. Oh, that's also nice. Yeah. So Saturn in the fourth separately also is bad for vehicles. Separately. But here you can argue it is... see, the thing about these planets is that when you say Saturn is in your own house, but then Mars is looking at it, it becomes different Saturn. So you'll have to use words like afflicted Saturn. Right? So, nice observations. A lot of facts are coming up. Everybody is familiar with the Mrityu Bhaga chart? What was being shared? Did you open it and see?
That's a small portion, Guruji?
No. The actual chart, not what is relevant for this. Wait.
You mean the Drekana?
No. The Mrityu Bhaga numbers, like planets.
Oh, okay.
That one. Because I shared it from my class. So everybody is fine with that, right? They've seen it.
No, Guruji.
Are you not able to see what in the chat Sai has said? Okay, in that case, wait. 1 minute. I'll try to share it from my class files. Is this visible? Yes or no? Visible?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Where is Saturn? Saturn's Mrityu Bhaga. How to read it?
In Aquarius.
In Aquarius, it is at 13.
13 degree.
Saturn misses it by a few fraction, right? Small number. But actually, if you ignore the minutes, if it crosses halfway, we round it up to the nearest number. It is 13. Yes?
Yes, Guruji. Likewise for moon also, Guruji, in Libra 26.
Moon, Libra, 26.
Here it is 26.4.
26.4. This is what Kishorji and others have been speaking about. And Kishore worked very hard on noticing these patterns. From yesterday, he's been studying these things. So these are improvements in astrology. God knows how they created this table. Must have been a lot of database and years of passing on knowledge from one generation to another. You can't simply understand how these numbers were written down in the first place, but somehow these are very important. Okay, now we'll go back, and sorry about the other screen share. You can go back to the same screen.
And Guruji, I wanted to even show you the chart of that 9/11 bombing in New York. If you can see this chart, Guruji.
Okay, 9/11. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that there's this one Mrityu Bhaga here, which is for once again Mars. If you can see this chart, this is
Mars is at Mars
Mrityu.
is in that it's 16 degrees, right? 15 degrees is Mars Aquarius, so it's exactly in the Mrityu Bhaga. But here, what is the connection between Mars and Saturn? That's also a large scale, right? I think that was about 5,000 people. What is the connection with Mars and Saturn?
Mars exalted in Capricorn.
No, Mars simply occupying Saturn's zone.
Okay.
And
Here also
Guruji,
the
one
eighth,
point,
eighth
one point, Guruji. Yeah. Saturn aspecting the Mars house, and that is also 12th house. Does that make sense?
Saturn aspecting 12th house.
And that is the Mars
house. Okay. But the pattern is Rahu and Jupiter are somewhat, closer.
Jupiter being the Jiva Karaka, so that pattern keeps repeating in most of the events that we see, Guruji.
Okay, in mass disasters. Okay.
Yeah, and the same twin tower attack, 9/11, when the actual building collapsed, at that time the timing was half an hour after that, which is this chart. Did I get it? Yeah. Now you see the second house having Ketu affliction there. And the second lord in the 8th with Rahu. Again, Jupiter getting caught in that same axis.
What is this chart?
This is the same twin tower, but this is like when the plane actually hit, that time.
Oh, this was the time when it hit. What is then the first chart you showed?
That was after that building collapsed.
Oh, as the building starts coming down, that was the time.
Yeah, so the event was actually like this is the beginning of the event, and that was the time when the news spread around.
Somehow it is the 8th.
Beginning is important, right, sir?
It is again the 8th Kalapurusha, right?
Yes, Guruji.
Again the same point.
And here we see the sun is also debilitated, along with the 8th and the 11th Lord. And along with the 7th and 12th Lord. Sun is the Atma Karaka. Natural Atma Karaka.
Can you check the Panchang on the day on the date?
Yes, Guruji.
I mean, for this chart, the Panchang.
Here, Guruji. It's Navami, Krishna Navami, and
this is the beginning or this is the ending?
This is the beginning.
Is a beginning.
When the plane hit the tower.
So Navami, bad time for travel. That's a big rule for travel alone. Do not travel in Navami. That's a rule.
Sir, both are the Lagna is same, sir, for both the charts.
That's what I said. Kalapurusha is 8th house. And then the weekdays of Venus, right? Again, same. 7th Lord. 7th and 12th Lord.
No, she meant the Lagna for the Odisha event, right? Was it for the Odisha event you're saying, Sri Devi ji?
Yeah. But
okay.
I meant, yeah.
No, Odisha event also same Vrishika Lagna.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
It's the 8th in the Kalapurusha. So here the axis Rahu Ketu 2-8 axis.
Jupiter in the 8th. The placement is also wrong, and its conjunction also is not a good conjunction.
Maga Nakshatra itself is bad. It's a fire place. Maka. That's why Maka is never selected for Murta. You know that?
Oh.
Good Murta, Maka is never selected. Whereas Mula, in some communities in India, they use Mula. And even Ashwini is straight away selected. But Maka is always rejected. In my astrology diary, one of the first things we do is we knock off Maka. Okay? Very aggressive. A lot of fire in it. It's a Ketu Nakshatra, right? So
that itself is
there's so
actually
much fire. There's so much fire in it because it is already the sun, which is the fire, which is the heat element. So the building actually collapsed because of the fire.
But that was even more gruesome. When the building totally collapsed.
No. But here, when the event happened, so much of the bad arrangement, right? 12th house, Mercury, Venus, Sun. How many planets are in 6, 8, and 12 in this chart?
In 6th, there's nobody, but
in 8th, 2.
Yes, Guruji.
And then in 12th, 3. 3 plus 2, but Ketu is also in the same like Rahu. So it will be almost like 6 out of 9 planets in bad places. Majority. So what will be the Dasha? Ketu Mahadasha, is it? When the event happened. It will be Ketu
Venus, Mercury. No,
not this. It will be Ketu Mahadasha. It will be Ketu Mahadasha.
Yes, right. Yes, Guruji. Ketu, Rahu, Moon.
Yeah, halfway through it will be. Yeah. So much of 8 those factors. Ketu, Rahu.
And Moon is in Ketu Nakshatra.
Moon is in Ketu Nakshatra. Okay. You see, the same pattern repeated when COVID started. The same Rahu in Ketu on this place. And Jupiter was not on that side, it was in this side. Another war-like thing. Okay. So can we go back to the
first? In this chart also, Saturn and Mars are aspecting Moon, sir.
Again.
Yes, Guruji. So there, that aspect seems to be shaking up in the medical area, I think. I mean, in the life.
In the hurting part.
Okay. And anything about the dispositor of Moon also is debilitated. That is another thing. Not only is Moon afflicted, but also the dispositor of Moon is debilitated, right, Guruji?
Correct.
And then if you take the 8th from the Moon, he is also afflicted by Rahu.
See, another way of looking at it is, US is considered like the king, right? So the king is weak. When the sun is debilitated, the king becomes weak. Opposite forces become strong. That's why in the good old days, when kings take over, they will never take over. They'll never do the crowning event when sun is debilitated. They'll only do it when sun is exalted, sun is in own house or sun is strong, only then they will do it. They'll never do it in such times. Sun debilitated. So the US is weak in that particular month. So before winding up, can we go back to the first chart, the three train collision?
Yes, Guruji.
And anybody wants to summarize observations, or each student tell 2-3 points, and then we close it. Or it is already concluded.
Mrityu Bhaga, I read that it is that zone when the planets lose their domination or their power to do good or evil. So it's like like zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of other things were mentioned, but this one fact was important.
Mm.
Even in that, the reason why I wanted to show that Twin Tower chart is to show that there also that Mrityu Bhaga was only seen once in one of the.
But here it is.
Yeah, here it is 3. Yeah. And that is the reason why I was doing a little bit of tinkering with the timing to get, because I noticed that it was mentioning as near. And when you move it forward or backward, you see exactly just a few minutes back, it says.
Okay.
See here, just 1 minute and it says yes. Before it was saying near, now for 1 minute it's saying yes. So that means that 1839 is like what, 640, I guess. That was the time when the trouble would have started.
But in Twin Towers case, the negative plan is executed. I mean, it is not planned, right? This is not planned. How can we know?
That's a good observation, Sridevi. That is what I wanted to mention. Again, there's one thing called as natural and man-made. Now, this is like what we call as natural, and that is the reason why the chart is able to show us all the negatives of that time. Okay, we know that this event happened at 7 p.m. So plus or minus 15 minutes, if we do a little bit of moving around, then we see this Mrityu Bhaga element. But there, as you rightly mentioned, it was planned. It was a human conspiracy.
The sun is weak and negative energies are having the plus, to execute their plans.
You see, whenever you read a basic ordinary chart, like a human being's chart, easy way to start is ask how many planets are in 6, 8, and 12. So that's a good
I remember you mentioning that. The first thing you observe is what is happening in 6, 8, and 12. That's what you said as one of your
in this chart also
secrets.
we have we have 5 planets out of 9 planets in 6, 8, and 12, right? 6th and 12th. 8 is vacant. In the other chart, again we had the same thing. So whenever planets go into 6, 8, and 12, it's such a bad thing. So there was a person who acted like an astrologer and gave the Caesarean time of birth with all the planets in 6, 8, and 12. And the child died immediately. Okay, so what he did not notice was, he thought it is a muhurta. It's a good day. Okay. But he didn't know that muhurta is not the same as horoscope. And the person died the baby died very quickly. So when the chart came up to me, I saw it was in 6, 8, and 12, all the planets. Just imagine. Somebody saying date is 2 ruled by moon. Yeah, we can add points like that. Moon is, but date, the English date is sometimes important also because the world is using it, but it's not so much cosmic because dates are arbitrary, right? But now dates are also working. I've seen dates are also working. We'll consider that. But for me, the takeaway was Indian Railways adds up to 35. My God, I didn't see that. So when you see Saturn, the train aspected by Mars, you'll have to read it like that. Mars, the accident planet, the violence planet, the hurting planet, is looking at the train. Like that you can see. Okay. And a lot of important observations like the 22nd Trekana is Saturn, both from both points, I think, right? Both from the moon and from Lagna.
Yes, Guruji.
Those are unforgettable things in this discussion. Wait, Deepak has noted Venus moves to 8th in Bhava chart. Is that correct? We didn't notice that. Oh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh. Now we have more planets.
That is also an important observation, thanks to Deepak, because when we look at the Dasha Bhukti, then Venus is running its Dasha from the 8th house.
Yeah. That's very, very, very important.
Nice
How
catch.
did we miss that? Yeah. Because in that case, it will become even worse. One of the mistakes that many even professional astrologers use is they think when a Maraka goes to a bad house, it becomes good, positive, negative into negative, positive, like that. Actually, it gets worse. If the Maraka in this horoscope is Venus, it's so powerful because it is at one time ruling 7th house and the other house is 12th house. And then it connects to 8th, it becomes deadly. So Venus moving to the 8th in Bhava chart. That's why I always recommend you create a chart with the Rashi and Bhava side by side in Jagannath Hora. In this, we can create different pages like that. So
I usually have it, Guruji. It is in one of the regular pages, but since
we can do it in the mind, It just got that we just got distracted. It's so easy to do it in the mind because Venus is at 2 degrees, and surely it will be in the 8th house, right? Even without a Bhava chart, you can easily guess that. So that is one of the ultimate points today. Venus in the 8th. It is in the
And it is
Alpha.
Vargottama.
It is Vargottama. Okay. Yeah, it is Vargottama, right? Because Venus is at 2 degrees 54
And
minutes.
Friday.
And Friday.
And Friday also.
Yeah, it's
And it's in 12,000 Chaturthams also.
Does anybody like to look at the Navamsha? We have not looked at Navamsha, Guruji.
Okay.
So Navamsha also we see this moon aspected by Mars.
Okay.
We see the 3 grahas in the 6th.
Oh, again, so much bad during that time.
It's an eclipse type. I mean, if we take it a real chart, it's an eclipse type. Moon is very near to Sun.
And most importantly, there is the mutual aspect of Saturn and Mars.
Mars looking at Saturn, Saturn looking at Mars in the Navamsha.
Yes. And most of the...
One minute. In between, some student pointed out D16 and D4, right?
Yes, Guruji.
Is it not a good idea to just a look at these two charts and before we close the session?
There is definitely something there in D16, Guruji, and D6 also I was looking at.
Okay. First we'll go D16. Okay. D16 is more vehicles than just like a normal reading 4th house. Okay. Chaturthamsa. So where is it? Oh, D16. Yeah.
Yeah, Guruji. Lagna Lord in 12th and we have Rahu.
That's all. Straight away show the Samsa. D16. Lagna Lord goes to 12th. In divisional chart, one of the most important takeaways will be, where is the Lagna Lord? Again, Lagna Lord in the 12th. Right? So here we don't want to do anything like, again, creating a Bhava chart. So I think it's not a good idea to write degrees inside a divisional chart. Okay, so it's not recommended, but it's okay.
Yes,
but
that was
moon,
for the different.
Yeah, it's for the sake. Yeah. So moon, Lagna Lord in 4th So it's a definite setback to D16. What else can you pick up from this? Saturn is in the perfect eighth. I mean, sorry.
Guruji, and again,
Saturn must
Mars as a Mars and Saturn aspect again, and also
Mars
fourth
looking
lord,
at Saturn, Saturn looking at Mars. Okay,
fourth lord is afflicted by Mars.
Fourth lord is afflicted by Mars and also burned by the sun. Right?
And here, Ayush Karak Saturn is also afflicted by not only by Mars but also by Rahu Ketu, both of them.
Yeah, on few charts in divisional charts, Rahu and Ketu will be in the same place. Okay. But they say keep Rahu here and put Ketu on the opposite side. Doesn't matter. But it is still in the second house of Maraka. This chart, fourth, Lagna, fourth. In all divisional charts, one of the ideas taught by to me was the chart, the Karakatva and the topics. You'll have to try to link it up. So one important idea is Lagna Lord and the topic. What is the topic? Fourth. Fourth Lord Venus. What is the axis between Moon and Venus?
212.
212. Very bad. So you can use this in Navamsha also. How to use it in Navamsha? Lord of Lagna and Lord of Seventh. Because you're talking about marriage. That is, Lagna will be one starting reference point for every chart. And then from that, you'll have to count what topic are you talking about. Okay, that house will get into the picture. So now it will be Venus Moon 2 bar 12. This 2 bar 12, 6-8, Sashtashtaka, Durdva Dasa is very important in divisional charts.
Sir, how 212, sir? I didn't get the point.
You're talking about vehicles, right? So, vehicle is fourth. Okay. And Karaka, natural Karaka itself is Venus only. Any vehicle, but we'll forget that. We'll take only fourth lord. What is Lagna Lord? Any divisional chart, Lagna Lord is the king, reference point. So, Moon is the Lagna Lord. Moon already in 12th, but Venus in 2 bar 12 from Moon. So, the chart becomes very weak. Bad luck for vehicles.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Do you understand that? So, same idea, how can you use it in Navamsha? Look into anybody's chart and see where is the Lagna Lord and then where is the 7th Lord. If the Lagna Lord and the 7th Lord are in 2 bar 12 or 6 bar 8, the Navamsha chart becomes weak. Like that, you can use it for any chart. Dashamsha, you have to use Lagna Lord and 10th house and see how they are between themselves. I hope everybody understands this.
10th house of that respective chart.
Yeah, because we are talking about Dashamsa, right? So you're only talking about 10th house. So within this chart, what is the reference? 4th house. And Lagna is always supreme in every divisional chart. In parents chart, how will you do it? Dwadasamsa, Lagna Lord is the reference point. And then you have to take 9th house for father and 4th house for mother and check how are they placed between themselves. Okay. But I think bad luck element was so high in this horoscope. Right? Because in one of the big points, according to me, in this chart is somebody said in the beginning, 9th and 12th Parivartana. Okay. And then the Venus Antardasha. This is why I think Kishorji showed Dasha, Antardasha, Pratyantar, Sukshma and all that. I think Venus repeated 2 times, right?
Yes, Guruji. Yes, Guruji.
Yeah, Venus repeat 2 times. See, this is a very nice idea. If you know the exact time of anything, in Prashna, we can easily say the exact time because we know what is Prashna. You can note it down in minutes and seconds also. So when you have accuracy, just do like what Kishore just said now. Just go through all of them and see how many times one single planet rules that movement. Okay? How many times does it rule continuously? Venus is everything in this chart. because 2 times. So therefore, Venus becomes prime important. And then it is 7th Lord and 12th Lord, hospital. How many people are in hospital? Thousands.
And also a lot of possibilities, sir. The opposite train has to come at the same time.
Yeah.
Exactly same
It is
second.
not, it is not ordinary, right? With all the gadgets that we have, telecommunication, and every commoner is having a smartphone. And just imagine with
Even
all
5
these,
minutes slower,
yeah,
sorry, 5 kilometers per hour slower or faster would have made a lot of difference.
very big difference, very big difference. There would have been enough time to brake. So many things could have happened. It's just mere bad luck. Okay.
I'm really, wonder like these science, right? This astrology. If this attempt is from some man-made, the time is so bad, then it's difficult to avoid. Suppose if this is a event of a terrorism or something.
Yeah, the point is the event is happening by whatever means it is happening, only that will change. But the event is happened already, and it didn't happen all over the world. It happened only in this place. But where it happened, at least it is revealing astrologically. Okay, and see, we can see a pattern. It was so smart of Kishorji to bring in the 9/11 to just say how many similarities. And if you come up with more and more case studies of similar topics, you will get the same pattern again and again. So, but then what do we do with this? How do we make use of these things? That is a different point, right?
And it's very difficult to guess also, like these kind of events with a lot of preparations, karma preparation. Those people have to plan their journey. All they have to gather in a same train, same day. It's not easy.
Yeah.
How many passengers would normal travel in a train, if anyone has an idea? Is it like 1,000?
No, it will be roughly, you can multiply by, rough idea, 72 per coach, and multiply it by 13 coaches, 15 coaches, like that. You should be able to get the number.
Roughly
15,
around 1,000. So
yeah,
we are
15,
having...
15. Usually can say 15 coaches because there'll be varieties like 3 AC coach and so on. So it should be roughly how much? 15 into 72 something, 1,080. Or maybe 1,100, 1,100. Sometimes it will be larger also, longer trains are there. Okay. It's not always only this many. Sometimes it will be even 18 coaches. Depends.
In the Nadi, they give weightage to Saturn and Jupiter, if I'm not mistaken, Guruji. And normally they say these slow moving grahas are very impactful. So when you take the 8 from Saturn is afflicted, and 8 from Jupiter is again afflicted. And 8 from Venus is again the Saturn itself.
See, of the aspects of Saturn, the Maharshi says the third of Saturn is having more poison in it. More poison. The third house aspect. So it's a good practice when you do a natal chart reading, you always look at the third house from Saturn, not the 10th house, because third house is the more deadly. And so that we'll never forget this, they said, Ganesh, that is Lord Ganesha, lost his head because of Saturn's third house drishti. I don't know what is the meaning of that, but that's how it has been mentioned. And but Lord Ganesha overcame that and replaced it with a elephant's head. So whenever Saturn's third house aspect is there, we are supposed to tell Ganesh Puja. Please remember that for individual horoscope reading. Meaning if there is a group of planets under the third house influence, like in this case, already Jupiter is in trouble because of Rahu. And even a lay person will label it as Guru Chandala Yoga, right? Everybody knows. How many times I've heard this from my clients. They say, my son has got this, my daughter has got this. What do you think? Then, of course, that's a different topic. So Guru Chandal is basically it's about misguidance, making mistakes, ego, what will happen to us, nothing will happen. So carelessness, all of that. Ajnana and knowledge. Rahu is the ignorance and Jupiter is. So you have a group of planets there and Saturn looking at them is one of the most important thing here. Already Saturn is in Mrityu Bhaga, like that. We have accumulated a lot of points. I think today's discussion has been done well, thanks to all the contributors.
Sir, can you repeat the Saturn's third aspect remedy one more time?
Ganesh, that is, if you have, see, third house aspect of Saturn, always it will be there on the horoscope. But if planets are coming under the third house aspect, it is something important. So you have to tell them, always be a devotee of Ganesh, because Lord Ganesh alone overcame the influence of the third house aspect of Saturn. Therefore, it is just an idea that whenever you see any chart and you see many planets under third house aspect of Saturn, please tell them. Sometimes a cumulative effect will be there. Saturn, behind Saturn, Mars will be there. And in which case, Saturn will look at that house. So many examples was done in the astrological magazine. That is Saturn's third house aspect on a group of planets. And just behind Saturn, there is a Mars. And Mars is also putting pressure on the same. That will be too much of problem if things happen like that. But here it is only third house. Mars is not directly looking there. Okay. But Mars is looking at Saturn.
That is one observation.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the 8th house of longevity from Saturn, 8th house of longevity from Jupiter, and from the Lagna itself. So all the 8th house lords are afflicted.
Correct.
See, whenever these events happen, Guruji, we have to find the root cause in astrology, because I am a strong believer that astrology never fails. So in this case, it is proving once again that the events that happened, unfortunately, that was that is being seen in the chart. And the more experienced the astrologer is, the more deeper he goes into the root cause analysis.
Correct. See, but the point is, we need to spend more time, if you try a quick answer, we will miss many things. So normally, if you are a budding astrologer, I advise all of you to take only one question per person. If you take multiple questions, it will get diluted. Okay. In the good old days, the advice was go to an astrologer with only one question, not anymore. Because then he can use a lot of things. There'll be a lot of time. Then he can have another method, one more method, just to see how to answer that single question. Okay.
And I have a friend actually who traveled in the train. He got down.
My God.
He got down in the morning itself at Visakhapatnam.
Oh.
So yeah, I was looking at his chart when he mentioned that the same train was involved in an accident. Coincidentally, he's having grahas in dashas running in 6th and 12th. He was lucky to survive. Even though he's not traveling further, but yeah.
But he hasn't planned to travel further, right? It's not in his plan.
Yeah, he hasn't actually.
Probably he had Jupiter's saving grace, Gangajal.
Jupiter is aspecting 12th for him.
Jupiter should not also be afflicted, no? In this case, Jupiter is afflicted here.
That means the train is traveling from south to top north.
Yes, the Coromandel Express. Yeah, he boarded in Chennai. He traveled up to Visakhapatnam.
Same train. What a really, it would have caused goosebumps. My God.
Well, it is so easy for us to talk about it, but for people who went through it, it will be, they'll remember it even in the next birth, right? They'll be frightened of vehicles and speed and
sir, one more thing I would like to share. There is a group of 120 Jan people in the train. They were going to Shikarji, and I came to know because I am part of one group. Not even a single person got any injury also. I'm not sure whether is it some karma or because they were going for a religious purpose and they were a very strong follower of the Jainism. They were going to Shikarji also, and not even a single injury to those 120 group of people. Not sure if we can relate something.
Yeah, then we have to only say that they were blessed because of surrender concept. They're living a better life. Always you stand a chance, you have a better chance against bad karma. I mean, bad karmic influences. If you are on the right path and under a system, and uh, you follow scriptures, you try your best to be a good person. So mostly there will be luck, but sometimes it is not there also, um, depending upon so many other factors. But this we already said. Remember in one incident in Tamil Nadu, a bus was run over by a train, and all the people died. So they just dumped all the dead bodies in general hospital. After a long time, suddenly a boy got up from, in the middle and just started walking. And all the nurses started running around saying it's a ghost. But when they checked the boy, he had not even one smallest injury. But everybody else was dead on the spot. Okay, so sometimes you can't explain. But if you use astrology, you could explain. But in the normal context, it's so difficult to explain. How when everybody died on the spot, only one boy did not even have a scratch. Okay.
I wanted to search. Yes, Guruji, please go on.
One more thing about all this is death will eventually come. Okay. So when Sri Krishna knows that his time has come, he goes, and you know the story, right? So it doesn't spare anybody who's born. But the point is the exit will determine the bad karma that was brought forward, the way we go, the way we exit. And that's the reason why we have to be compassionate and kind and always practice Mahamrityunjaya and talk about salvation and so on. So that's what a very important point. Like whatever is like Srimad Bhagavatam or your scriptures, something like that. Because the pain is remembered by the soul. It hurts the soul. And its next existence is shaped upon the experience that it goes through during the last few moments. Okay, they'll all be, so agitated. So violent ending is not good. Peaceful ending is good. Mahamrityunjaya is one of the best mantras for peaceful exits. Okay, quiet and without much noise. So to the person, if the exit is very smooth, there is no problem at all. Only for others, the family members, it's a big event. But for them, it is not. But when the soul has to exit like this in either violence or war or injury and all that, it's a bad thing. It will shape up its mentalities in the next birth, and that is not welcome. So one of the most ideal way is to tell the God's name and pass away. That's the most peaceful way. But when you are in such pain, it is so difficult. Okay. So we'll stop here, 10:24. Thank you, Kishorji, for again coming up with a mind-boggling discussion. And thank you all who participated. A lot of interesting points. So I think I'll upload it tomorrow. Okay.
There are a few things which I missed out, and that is about the Upagrahas and the Charadashas. But I think this itself we covered a lot of points.
Yeah, exactly. Karthik has said usually all trains are installed with anti-collision devices with okay, but unfortunately these devices were not installed. Oh my God. Again, unfortunate, right? 9 and 12 Parivartana. Okay. Is there anything else that I missed out reading? Lagna and Lagna Lord in Sarpa Drekana. Oh, we missed out the entire thing on Drekanas, right? Uh-oh. Is everybody inside the class? Okay. Wait a minute. I'll just show you. Sorry. See, always keep a photo of this on your phone. Okay, it will be very useful. The only confusion is in that last part. You can see in the corner, Jupiter, Sagittarius, you can see Ratna Bandar. So there is some confusion about whether we got this name right. Even yesterday, Kishore, you are saying that it is Rakta Bandar, right?
No, Guruji, it is Ratna Bandar. Correct.
Yeah, it is Ratna Bandar only, but I know that. But I don't know what exactly is the meaning of Ratna in this context. But except this, everything else seems to be very clearly mentioned. Okay. So you see, the problem is this Ayuda or Chatushpada. Okay, this Chatushpada is actually vehicles. Vehicle could have been even animal, like four-legged or something. Okay, so or moving. I think it's more about something moving. So Ayuda is weapon or something like, something would injure you. Okay, then Chatushpada again. So this entire zone is that. Do you recall that Rahu and Mars, Rahu and what is the other planet? Jupiter.
Jupiter, sir.
We're all here. And even the Saturn was in Ayuda. Okay. So if you spend some time on the same chart with these things, you can find how many times this Ayuda was connected or Chatushpada was connected. That vehicle thing. Okay. So many times. The moon was in Vishaka, right? Is that correct?
Moon was in Jupiter's nakshatra. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. That is Chatushpada again. You can see that where I'm keeping the mouse pointer. If people don't understand what this is 10-degree map. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, like that. So Aries has 10 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees. The four-leg or the moving things. So those days, I think people would come in horse and, kill them. So they came in on four wheels like that. So and now we have six-wheeler up to, I don't know, but how many other wheels you want. But it's not exactly that, but it is about moving. Okay. So please use these things. And when Sarpa comes, somebody's talking. So when Sarpa comes, it is more Rahu and poison. Okay. Okay. Sarpa to whenever it comes, it is more poison. And maybe Sarpa could be cancer. Sarpa could be something like a snake bite, typically. So please use this. Where Pakshi is, I think nowadays it could be an aeroplane. Those days, I don't know what it was.
So what does Ayuda mean? Can you please explain? Chatushpada weapon. And Ratna Bhandar?
Yeah, that alone, we do not know the exact meaning, but they say it is bad only. Okay. But that is only odd one out. Yeah.
Weapon, vehicle, poison, and Pakshi is like aeroplane.
Yeah. No,
Pakshi is the harmless one, sir.
I think Pakshi could be food poisoning. Okay. Eating the birds or bird dropping, getting into your food and that you get poison.
Infection.
Infection. So some of the bird droppings are extremely poisonous. I don't know if you know that. Parrots and pigeons and a lot of these bird droppings will come into our food, and then you won't even know what happened. In those days, people will die very quickly. Okay, so depending upon common sense approach, also you should read it. But this is a very nice tool, so don't ignore it.
So where the graha falls, that degree will determine.
You'll have to make it into 10 degrees, and most of the software is able to give you the Drekana, right? Even Sri Jyoti does it. I think Jagannath Hora also does it. So we'll stop now. Did we say anything else somebody said and I missed out?
I just realized that I didn't mention that 7 grahas are immovable. I just typed it, Guruji.
Oh.
Which is rare.
7 grahas are unmovable. So something to do with vehicles. You got one more clue. Okay. Chara sign. Very nice. Okay. Om Trayambagam Yajamage Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityu Mukshiyam Amritat. Hari Om to everyone.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kishore.
Thank you, Guruji.